Welcome back to geography. Hopefully you guys were able to make sure to get the 2 homework assignments, the quiz, and the chapter 19 test covered. Now we're starting into chapter 20 today. Just some things that you need to make sure you pull out this map. Remember, it has all the information on the back. Now, immediately looking at this, you think, oh, this is a lot of stuff, it's going to be terrible. But remember, we're not doing the countries and capitals part, so ignore all the numbers, even all 20 of them. We're only focusing on the land features, which are symbolized by the capital letters, and by the sub-regions, which are signified by the Roman numerals. So as we go through this real quickly, let's just make sure we know where these locations are found. First of all, the Katanga Plateau is located in the southern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yeah, it's a long name for a country, but that's what it's officially called. The Katanga Plateau. And then in the northern part of the same country, we have the Congo Basin. So make sure A is there, B is there. Letter C is the Adamawa Mountains, which are located in the country of Cameroon. Letter D is Lake Chad. There'll actually be more information about Lake Chad in the next chapter, but we'll mention it here since it's an important land feature. And then letter E, lastly, is Cape Palmas. Remember, a cape is like a peninsula, except it's more sharp, jagged, and it's located right here at the connection, right around where the country of Liberia is located, right here. So these are the only five land features that you need to know. Then we have the sub-regions, which are identified for you. The first sub-region is the Congo Basin. It includes the countries of the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the Republic of the Congo. Yes, those are separate countries. Next, we have the Lower Guinea coast. That includes the countries of Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, and Sao Tome and Principe. Then we have the Gulf of Guinea coast. The Gulf of Guinea coast, located from east to west, yes, are Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Cote d'Ivoire. And then lastly, the fourth sub-region is the Atlantic Coast region. Starting from south to north, we have Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Gambia, Cape Verde, and Senegal. Those are your land features and your sub-regions that you need to know for the upcoming test. All right, let's get back into it. This is Cultural Geography. In case you forgot what class you were in, this is Chapter 20, Central and Western Africa. Reminder, where is sub-Saharan Africa? Well, that's the parts of Africa that are south of the Sahara Desert. Last chapter, we covered some of this land. This chapter, we will cover the rest. While North Africa suffers from too little rain, the nations discussed in this chapter often deals with too much rain. Before we get into talking about the actual countries, let's lay some foundation into this area. First of all, the countries that we're talking about are located near the equator. The land consists of jungles or savannas. Rain from the Atlantic drops across the land just like it does in the Amazon in South America. As one goes north or south from the equator, the winds shift, creating a rainy season and a dry season, which makes a savanna. Because the land generally cannot support most agriculture, most Africans are hunters and gatherers. Sometimes they use slash and burn agriculture. This simple agriculture permits the existence of small villages, but there is not enough food to support large groups in one place. The village is an important concept in African life. Each person plays a vital role in the survival of the whole community. Polygamy is not unheard of in these parts of Africa, and in fact it is considered a sign of wealth. Young children pull weeds or sort vegetables. Older children will herd livestock or do household chores. In some of these villages, they still perform what are called initiation rites. These are coming-of-age tests for young men or women in the village. These initiation rites, which happen as young as 12 or as old as 20, can include hunts, dances, and ceremonies with masks. The men under 35 traditionally protect the village, and the older men govern. The chief unites and leads oftentimes several villages that are part of a clan. A clan consists of several villages that can trace their ancestry to a common relative. The chief rules over all of these villages and chooses men to administer in each of the villages. And then we have tribalism. Tribalism is a strong identification with a group that speaks the same language. If you think about it, think of a family is a small circle of people. A clan is a larger circle, and then tribe or tribalism is the largest circle that people associate. Although Africa has only 1/10 of the people of the world, it has 1/3 of all the languages, so a lot of languages in Africa. With isolation, languages diverge. Individuals feel more allegiance to their tribe than to their country. You might consider some positive and negative aspects of tribalism. It, of course, promotes unity among the tribe. It promotes diversity among the tribes. It promotes more variety, and I'd consider those all good things. But some negative aspects of tribalism is it disunifies. It might lead to tribal warfare, tribal conflict with other tribes. It will not bring a united country, and it will not make it a stronger country. So those are some negative aspects of tribalism. Yet the village is important in understanding Africa, just as the extended family is important in understanding the Orient. In contrast to those two societies, Americans tend to place the greatest emphasis on the individual. That's definitely true. Animism is the worship of souls of animals, rivers, trees, and other objects. The traditional religions where superstition and demonic practices are still common can be found in this part of Africa. The witch doctors sometimes communicate with spirits, offer healing, and they use sorcery. This part of Africa has the largest remaining area of tribal religions in the world today. In fact, turn in your books to page 494. I want you to read the orange box entitled African Traditional Religions. Please read that box to yourself. Once you have finished, please unpause the video and we will continue. European colonization brought both radical good and bad changes to Africa in the 1800s. The people now have a mixture of African and Western ways. The cities have both markets and department stores. While villages lack electricity and plumbing, cities have modern hospitals, schools, industries, homes, and entertainment. While after imperialism, autocrats ruled countries with absolute control. During the 1960s and 70s, Europe lost its colonies. The countries that emerged consisted of dictators who picked sides in the Cold War between the U.S. and USSR. Corruption was common on both sides. After the Cold War, the gospel has spread throughout the continent. The first country to have free and fair elections was Benin in 1991. The gospel began to prosper in this new freedom. Christ offers a miraculous peace that no government can give or take away, a peace that is not disturbed by wars or economic disasters. As John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. We're going to briefly begin Roman numeral 2 today. We've got a little bit of time, and so we're going to briefly begin it. Central Africa is the first of the two regions that we're going to focus on. Most of this region has a tropical wet climate. Swamps full of stagnant water barricade the coastal lands. Dense jungles cover the inland. The average temperature is 80 degrees and 100 inches of rain fall annually. Animals found here include the forest elephants, gorillas, panthers, pythons, and many more. Also, you may find in Central Africa deadly diseases such as yellow fever, sleeping sickness, malaria, and HIV/AIDS. Yellow fever is a disease that mosquitoes transfer to people. While millions are infected by the disease, there are treatments and vaccines to fight it. Sleeping sickness comes from the tsetse fly. 69 million people are at risk from the disease as it progresses from fever to seizures to delirium and then to coma. Death results if treatment is not given. Mosquitoes also infect people with malaria. It kills more than 1 million people a year and actually is the single biggest killer of African children under the age of 5. And of course, we already know HIV and AIDS destroys the body's immune system. More than 25 million people in Africa have HIV and AIDS. Please read in your books, page 495, about AIDS and the Christian's response. Once you have finished reading that box, that's all the material that we're going to cover for today. Hope you all have a good rest of the day. Be good, do good. Bye.